What's good, y'all? It's JD, and today I'm going to be running you guys through a home workout using the Bull Bar 2.0 and the gymnastics rings. So, starting off, we're going to be doing high pulls up to the waist, and I always start off with a warm-up set, just doing a single, just kind of as a temperature check, and then I move into doing repetitions of 3. So while I'm doing these repetitions of 3, I'm kind of playing with my technique. I'm also seeing how much energy I need to use to explode on the rings to get as high as possible. When you're doing these waist pull-ups or these high pull-ups, you're not just pulling straight up, you're kind of pulling up and then pulling back a little bit. So there's a little technique involved in it as well. But I do 3 sets of these high pull-ups. And each set, I'm trying to get higher than the previous set. Each set, I'm trying to get more explosive. Each set, I'm trying to get cleaner reps than the previous set on these high pull-ups. So next exercise is going to be archer pulls. So this is kind of a single arm movement. And what I do is I start off using 2 fingers on my offhand, and we're doing 3 repetitions on these archer pulls. So kind of first set, kind of getting my technique together. I actually haven't done this movement in a while. This is something that I'm getting back into just because I want to start working on some one-arm chin-ups or some one-arm pull-ups. I've been on a cut recently, so I've gotten a little bit lighter. So maybe getting into some single-arm pulls is something that I want to eventually get into. It's something I never really focused on as far as a one-arm pull-up, but I think it would be a good movement to master at this period of time in my calisthenics journey. But as you can see, second set is a lot cleaner. And so your focus when you're getting multiple sets in on an exercise is you should be trying to clean that movement up each set, or you should be trying to get more explosive or add weight, get stronger. The form should be getting better each and every set. So my last set on these, I actually went with 1 finger. This one actually hurt my finger a lot, but it's a lot more difficult, and it focuses you to use that unilateral strength. So the last set was 1 finger. As you can see, kind of had to shake it off after that first set on my right side. On the left side, I'm going to end up having to do the same thing. But these archer pulls are pretty good work, especially something that you can get done inside of the comfort of your own home. Now, after the archer pulls, we went into the third pull exercise of the day, and this is just going to be chest to ring pulls. So with these, you're just focused on being under control and pulling all the way up to your chest. So the rep don't count unless you hit your chest to the ring. First set is a warm-up set, went with 5 reps, and then on the second set, I decided to push it a little bit and went with 10 reps. But as you guys can see on this set, my form kind of broke down at the end, and the form got a little bit sloppy. Normally if I was on a more stable pull-up bar, or if I was at the gym where I'm using my rings and it's on a more of a stable kind of beam or something like that, it's easier for me to get more repetitions in. But on the bull bar, it's a little bit unstable, so it kind of forces you to work on your stabilizers a little bit. Now, as you guys can see, stepping outside for a second, it was pretty sunny day that day. I like to go out and get sun as much as possible. I live in San Francisco. It's not exactly the warmest place. So when we get the sun, I like to soak it up as much as possible. Outdoor workouts or even home workouts like these where you can kind of soak up some sun are always going to beat training in the gym. I don't know what it is about it. I don't really know the science behind it, but I do know that we're solar power beings and we need as much sun as possible. For those of us living in the Western Hemisphere, most of us are vitamin D deficient. So this is the last set of the chest to ring pull-ups, and I think I got 5 reps in here, which wasn't bad. I just felt like I was getting tired, so it was time to kind of stop with the movement. Once the form starts to break down and you feel like you don't have enough energy to get a quality set in, let the movement go. You don't necessarily need to push past failure. Now, I'm lowering the rings down, and the next exercise for this home workout is going to be dips, ring dips with a turnout. So these are what you call RTO dips. And again, I start off with a set of 5 repetitions. So we're just doing 5 reps on the RTO dips. If you guys have not tried ring turnout dips, I highly suggest that you give them a try. They are much, much more difficult than just doing regular ring dips, and way more difficult than doing regular dips on a parallel bar, on a dip bars. So that was the first set. And with the dips, we're just going to go ahead and progressively overload. As you can see, I'm going ahead and getting another little sunbathing break. Go outside, chill, soak up some sun a little bit, get some fresh air. You know, this was a very, very good workout. I'm actually going to continue to do these anytime I have some time in the morning. Usually I have clients at 6 in the morning every morning. One of my clients is out of town. A couple of my clients are actually out of town. It's summertime, so it's a little bit slower. A lot of people are out on vacation during the summertime. So if you're a personal trainer, you know. Summertime is the slow season. This is actually the time when we can actually take more time to work on our body, work on our craft, and, you know, just take some time to get some game in other areas. So I'm trying to fully take advantage of that. But next set here on the RTO dips, we're going for 10 reps. And 10 reps on RTO dips, to be honest with you, I would say is usually the place that I usually stop. I'm not the type of person who likes to go high volume, super high volume. When it comes down to the basics, I tend to try to get quality reps in, full range of motion when it comes down to the basics. You know, there's a lot of content on YouTube, or, you know, even just cats that I see just in the Bay Area out here where I live. And it's all about volume for these cats. And what I tend to notice is that with high volume comes a lot of junk volume. So this is actually my last set on these RTO dips. This is set number 3. And I actually went for 15 reps right here. But peep game. At the end of this set, my form starts to break down. And you can see not only do the rings start to go out wider. When you're doing these RTO dips, you want to keep these rings as tight as possible. That's where you keep yourself in a safe spot. But progressively, as the reps go higher on this one, the rings are getting further and further out. And form is starting to get a little bit more sloppier, and I'm starting to lose control of my core. Now, it doesn't look terrible, but it could be a lot better. But anyways, these are still a tough exercise. The form wasn't so bad to where I had to stop, but it wasn't ideal. So that is the 4th exercise of the workout. And up next, we're going to lower the rings down. So lower the rings all the way down to the ground. And now we're going to work on the RTO push-ups. And again, for those of you guys who have never done ring turnout push-ups, I highly, highly recommend that you give them a try. RTO push-ups are at least 10 times harder than doing some regular push-ups. I think I'm going to start off with a warm-up set of 5 again here, and even 5 reps is probably the equivalent of doing like 15 reps of some regular push-ups. So one thing that you really want to focus on when it comes down to these RTO push-ups is make sure you squeeze and almost pause for a second at the top of the movement. That's really where you get that chest activation at. Not only are RTO push-ups harder for stabilization reasons, but when you supinate that hand grip up top and you actually pause, if you supinate and just clap the push-ups together, you're not going to get as much activation. But if you supinate and give it a micro pause at the top, that's where you get the gains at. That's almost like a tiny little miniature isometric hold at the top where you get to squeeze that chest and you activate a little bit more. Honestly, I'm not really somebody who does chest isolated workouts like this. You guys can probably tell from my physique, my chest is not the strong point of my physique. I'm more so worry about like overhead pressing with handstand push-ups and stuff like that. And you know, my front delts are a little bit more prominent because I work on a lot of movements that kind of use front delts as the antagonist muscle. And, you know, the chest is just kind of along for the ride. But man, I noticed after doing this workout right here, my chest got a crazy pump. And I'm actually going to start putting these RTO dips back into my program just because, I'm not necessarily somebody who trains for aesthetics. But at the end of the day, if all it takes for me to do 3 sets of dips and 3 sets of push-ups each week with some RTO form in order to improve my aesthetics, by all means, sign me up. That's not even that much. That's basically an extra 10 minutes of work. But anyways, guys, that's it for the workout today. I've been on a cut recently, and I'm down about 12 to 13 pounds. Cut's going good. My birthday's in about a month and a half, and I want to be in tip-top shape by August 23rd. If you guys are interested in optimizing your physique, go to my website, hybridathlete40.com, and book a consultation. Peace.